Hey guys, welcome back again to the farm. We're doing some early fall cover cropping. Now this area right here, if you watched in my previous episodes of the summer, this is where the Bloody Butcher corn was growing. And I think I had some melons that didn't do much, got kind of overgrown by weeds, but I've done a pretty good job of clearing out the grass. You know the story, this was a hayfield as of last year, and you can still see the edge of the hayfield all around, but turning this garden plot from a hayfield, then there's a lot of perennial rhizomes and grasses that just take a lot of time to kind of work out. So I'm not in a big rush. I'm not going to just worry myself to death over it, but I did clear it out as best I could. And now I'm going to plant some cover crops. Okay, so if you've never grown cover crops, I highly recommend you do. You never want to leave your soil bare. Okay, that is a cardinal sin with just farming in general, and doesn't have to do with organic or any of that kind of stuff. If you leave your soil uncovered like this, it's going to rain, it's going to snow, the wind's going to blow depending where you're at, and all your good topsoil is going to wash away. Okay, any fertilizer, organic matter you've put in here, hard work all summer long trying to build your soil, it's all going to go away. So I'm going to add some cover crops today, and let me go ahead and talk about what I'm adding to the side here. And this is 100% unsponsored, I promise you. This just happens to be a lot from the same manufacturer or seed company. Okay, but anyhow, I'm going to start with some. These are French dressing, these are French breakfast, they're just both salad radishes. Okay, now these white icicles are going to be not quite daikon size. These aren't the tillage radishes you might have heard about, or like oilseed radish. These are just, radishes people would cook with and eat. But I'm using these as a cover crop for the benefit as well, is that radishes are good at burrowing down. They're going to put deep roots. They're going to help bust up compacted soil. And this right here, even though it looks nice and kind of fluffy right now, I promise you it's only about 3 inches I got to work through it. It is hard clay. So very slowly working it down best I can, and I'm going to use these radishes to help me do that. And as they break down in the spring, they're going to rot, and they do leave these little nice holes that's going to help air and other things kind of circulate through the soil. So they're nature's little plow. At least that's how I'm going to try to use them so far in the season. Next we have some mustard. This is a spinach tender green, or Japanese mustard, I believe. It's really good to eat. Actually, it's one of my favorite mustards. It's not quite as spicy, but I have tons of these extra seed packs laying around, so I'm going to be using them this year as a cover crop. And I've mentioned before many times, everything is a cover crop. Weeds are a cover crop. Grass is a cover crop. You don't have to make it overly complicated. All you're trying to do is build organic matter into your soil. You're going to till it in, or you're going to just kind of kill it off however you need to, or tarping it, or any kind of like no-till method, whatever works for you. But the key is when you're starting from scratch with really poor soil. I had the soil tested at the university. The soil, this is just trash. So I'm building it up the best I can, slowly and organically, as much as possible. Next, this is Chinese cabbage. I just had a bunch of these packs kind of given to me as just as a gift, so they were free, and I'm not really going to grow them this year. So Chinese cabbage is it's a brassica. It's going to add some good organic matter to the soil, and it's going to be a part of the cover crop blend. So we'll see what happens. Now this one I really do like. These are just the Florida broadleaf. These are the spicier mustard that you're probably used to eating. They're really good at repelling bugs and things like that, and adding more just biomass. They'll produce a lot of biomass for your soil. And last but not least, here is some Swiss chard, ruby red. I know a lot of people like Swiss chard. I don't. I have this seed pack, so I'm using it for a cover crop because I'm never going to grow it to eat it. Leave some hate mail down in the comments below if you're a Swiss chard lover. Okay, I can take it. But anyways, I'm just going to mix all these together and lightly scatter these across the soil, and just rake it in nicely, and just go from there. So that's what I'm doing with the cover cropping right there. So let me go ahead and kind of get that taken care of, and I will kind of just talk about what I'm doing for my other project on the other side of the garden. So checking this out, I showed you this before. These are just the black-eyed peas and crimson clover cover crop experiment within the rows of the blueberries, and I gotta tell you, this is working out perfectly. I don't know if I want to mow this down just yet. I'm just gonna let it keep growing, producing all the biomass that I can possibly get, because biomass is just plant material, guys. It's just plant material that you're growing on purpose with the idea that it's gonna be worked into the soil. It's gonna be chopped on top of the soil, let it just kind of the chop and drop method, let it break down. Right now, when you have trash soil like this, it's just infertile. An old kind of worn out hayfield situation like this is, or whatever you may have encountered in your garden plot. The trick is you need to start getting stuff growing at all times. You need to leave the soil what I'm trying to say is never leave the soil uncovered. Always keep something growing, whether it's a crop like these blueberries or whether it's corn, but don't ever have your soil just laying idle, okay? In nature, I mean, even though the winter time comes, yes, the seasons are what they are and the stuff doesn't grow in the wintertime, you're still going to have leaves that fall in the fall time. You know, it's covering it. That's breaking down. All the little insects and things that are working that stuff, that humus and the composting process all winter long are all contributing to keeping the soil covered at all times. So with that being said, I'll show you the last project I have that I've done today, just as a kind of little update for you, and I'll wrap up. Check this out. If you guys know what this is, let me know. Ready? Go. Yeah, all right, it's asparagus. And why is it so small? Well, I grew all these from seeds, okay? I know a lot of people tell you you can't grow asparagus from seed, or you're not supposed to because it's against the rules or something. But I've grown asparagus from seed just fine. This whole row, these are all just grown from seed. Goes all the way down to there. This is probably a good, I don't know, 10 to 15, it's at least 15, maybe 20 feet long, quite honestly. Worth of asparagus. I didn't really count the crowns. They're about, 10 inches apart, which might be a bit close, but that's fine. I'm just trying to fill this row in right here. I've added a bunch of leaves, some compost, and what I did before I planted these is I got an entire bucket full of my vermicompost, and I just put that at the bottom of the trench that I planted the asparagus on top of. So the roots are going to be just, in contact with that nice vermicompost from day one, which is going to help them really take off. We're about a month, maybe 5 weeks away from our first frost. So it's going to give these guys a long enough time to kind of, just establish themselves and just get ready before fall kicks in. And of course I will mulch these when the leaves start falling, put a nice little covering of leaves, grass clippings, etc. Tuck these guys in for the winter and they're going to pop up just fine. So what I was trying to say before I got myself distracted is the reason why people don't want you to grow asparagus from seed is because you never know if you're going to get a male or a female crown. Now, the females are going to produce berries, and they say they're not as productive as far as producing stalks as the male plants will do. So a lot of the hybrids and a lot of the big companies will sell you predominantly male crowns of your asparagus. But I'm not really overly concerned with that. I mean, if the asparagus gets a couple years old, and for some reason it's producing, just a female, and it's just producing berries, and it's really lagging behind, if you want to pull that particular plant out, I mean, go for it. I have a couple female asparagus plants in my pallet garden back at the hillside garden at the city, and it produces just as fine. I can't really tell that big a difference, quite honestly. If you're really into it, maybe if you're in commercial farming and you really need to extract as much as you possibly can from your produce or something. But other than that, I'm going to wrap this video up here with this kind of shot of a before, and maybe I'll do an after shot whenever some of these cover crops start to grow. But there you go, guys. Just a little advice on getting your ground covered at all times. Fall's a great time to kind of get those asparagus, if you've grown from seed, get them in the ground. Give them enough time to get established before that fall season comes. They'll be off to a great start in the spring, and eventually you'll be having yourself some nice homegrown asparagus, which is incomparable to the stuff you buy in the store for many reasons I won't get into right now, because that's not a soapbox I'm going to climb on at this moment. So I'll leave you with that and a nice pretty shot there, guys. Hope you did enjoy this. If you're doing cover crops, please let me know what you're planting, what you've had success with, and maybe let's share some of our failures, okay? Let's learn from each other in the comments down below. So until next time, guys, here from the farm, you guys take care, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.